FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried is expected to return to a Bahamas court today to seek his transfer into U.S. custody, where he will face criminal charges connected to the collapse of the crypto exchange. Yahoo Finance legal correspondent Alexis Keenan has the details for us. Alexis.
Hi, Brian. So yes, you have Bloomberg and Reuters both reporting that Bankman-Fried already signed surrender documents on Tuesday, so yesterday, foregoing his right to fight extradition from the Bahamas to the United States. Now, that in turn triggered a hearing that is now scheduled to take place in Bahamas court in Nassau at 11 a.m. Eastern time. That would be to formalize this accord. Now, if the judge okays this deal, the FBI would then be expected to escort Bankman-Fried to the U.S. as soon as today. And then by tomorrow, we would expect that Bankman-Fried would appear in the Southern District of New York, where he's facing charges for an arraignment, where he'd be expected to enter a plea of guilty or not guilty. And he'd also get a bail hearing. And that's up to the judge. The judge decides whether or not he can be free pending his case's conclusion. Now, the New York Times is reporting that Bankman-Fried's lawyers are already working with prosecutors on a bail deal that would include strict monitoring. But again, that's just up to the judge in the very end. One of the main arguments against bail would be the same that led Bahamian authorities to deny Bankman-Fried bail in the Bahamas, saying that because of his vast financial resources, of course, which he has said he does not any longer have, that he would be a flight risk. But it also raises the issue anytime you have a very wealthy defendant facing criminal charges and going up for a bail hearing, that there is some tinge of unfairness, because a lot of times these hearings and the bonds that can be expected, multi-million-dollar bonds in many cases of these large financial frauds, they can be deemed unfair and favoring the wealthy over those that can't afford to put up these types of assets, whether that's cash or otherwise, in order to keep themselves free. So a lot to watch today, and we'll certainly be watching for this hearing that begins shortly in about a half an hour.
Who has been deemed a flight risk, and for such a large a case as this, what typically is there in terms of pass-through of information from one jurisdiction to another? Because it is the Bahamian authorities that also had to kind of sign off to make sure that this was happening as well.
Right, and they haven't signed off yet. The Bahamas judge does have to formalize this deal, but there is an extradition agreement, a treaty between the United States and the Bahamas, whereby the two countries agree that they will work together to make criminal defendants come before whichever jurisdiction is prosecuting them back and forth. So we would expect there to be cooperation between the two. But look, yesterday's hearing brought a lot of confusion. It was described as chaotic, where the Bahamas attorney who's representing Bankman-Fried said that he had not been given information that had been discussed with his U.S. lawyers. So definitely there is a little bit of discord there, but we'll have to watch at 11 a.m. to see what all transpires and if Bankman-Fried indeed makes it back to the U.S. sometime in the next 24 hours.
Yahoo Finance's own Alexis Keenan continuing to track this proceeding, this case more broadly. Thanks so much, Alexis. Appreciate it.